All right, welcome to the Knackered Golfist podcast. It's a Monday morning after the Niners beat the Falcons last night, and it was a pretty good game, pretty intense most of the time, and the guys that were filling in for the guys that were injured, they really pulled through. McCaffrey had a great game, and Trent Williams had a great game, and then the new guy, Nathuni, filling in for Fred Warner, he had a really great game. So I went out and hit balls over at this new range that I went to on Friday night, and first of all, I really want to it's Emerald Lakes Golf Course down in Elk Grove. You know, I think I live like 35 miles away from there, and so I did another golf commute where, you know, depending on, I guess, what your taste is, I decided to go there because I needed a change, and I am really tired of going to a driving range and ending up at a nightclub and a bar and a restaurant and all that stuff. I'm really tired of that. You know, golf shouldn't be about all this other stuff that goes into it. It's just like, I guess it's what Top Golf is, where you go there and you eat and you drink and you know, take turns hitting shots into like a big round circle. And it's not me. It's not what golf is, in my opinion. I think that's bowling. And I'm not really wanting to go bowling. I mean, if I wanted to go bowling, I'd go to a bowling alley. And Country Club Lanes down in Sacramento with its period correct, you know, architectural design going in there. Country Club Lanes off of Watt Avenue, and I think it's El Camino and Watt is where it is. I grew up there. That was where the Tower Records used to be, and then also down at the corner was the Sam's Hofbrau, and that's a place to go bowling. I don't want to go to the golf course and experience a bowling alley experience. I mean, that's not golf. And so I went down to this place, Emerald Lakes Golf Course, and it's a 9-hole course, I believe. I think it is. It's like a regulation. I think it's like a par 36 9-hole course that I've never played. But they have, sometimes you can go there and the balls aren't very good. And like what happened last year, I think I went down there in like November or something, and the balls weren't good at all. But the accommodations were really good. They have grass tees, they have artificial turf mats, and they have something different where the mats in the hitting area, they're underneath a piece of metal, and you can move those things. It's like a metal rectangle in the hitting area, and you can move it to put your tee in there or whatever for your driver. But then the artificial turf part of it, the soft part, is where you stand. And sometimes, you know, the tees, the mat tees, as they call it, I guess, those are a bit knackered. But for the most part, you know, if the balls are good at a driving range like that, it's usually, sometimes you can get lucky. I mean, it was an overall better experience than I get at Sacramento National. And I thought it was a better experience. So I had a better time. I really made a good video, and I almost got hit by a golf club, but I didn't. You know, this guy shot, and then at the same time lost the grip on his club, and the club went twirling in the air, and it showed up in my shot, and I made a shorty about it. And I thought that was the funniest thing that I saw in weeks, And I put some music behind it, in my video, and I thought it was funny. But anyway, it was a good experience, I'm really getting, we went to play against sports on Friday after school, after I picked up Mr. Producer, and I found this wedge. It's a Ram Laser FX forged wedge, and it's a sand wedge that's really rare, and I paid a few dollars for it, and I think it's the best wedge that I hit all night at that range. And oh, by the way, the balls that they use at this range right now, currently, they're using the Wilson Premium range balls, and they're all in pretty good nick. They're all, I would say, it's about an 8 out of a 10, for those balls. And I think, what they've used before is they've used the Srixon yellow balls that are a bit more soft than what I would prefer. But I mean, if they're new, then it's fine, I think. I mean, Sacramento National had brand new balls last time I went there. But just the overall vibe of the place was really, really too much for me. So anyway, you go there, you go to Emerald Lakes, you drive. I mean, I drove 35 miles. I took the long way because I had to drop Mr. Producer off somewhere, and I took Watt Avenue all the way down, and it reminded me of the time when I used to go down to Vineyard Driving Range that's off of Elk Grove Florin Road, and then at the bottom of that, at Elk Grove Florin and Gerber Road, there used to be the Champions Golf Center, or the Champions Golf Links / Center that was there. Years ago, it had to be 1991, 1992 is when it was there. It was over 35 years ago. Can you believe that? I cannot believe that it's been that long. And so now there's all this housing development that has gone in there, and it's all redeveloped, and there's still in between, like, Jackson Highway and I would say Elder Creek Road, there's all this construction going on, and so they've narrowed the road. Well, it's still 2 lanes, but you think when you get past, like, Florin Road down there, it turns into 4 lanes on the road. And so you take that road, and so anyway, over at Elk Grove, Florin, and Gerber, there's a Walmart there now, and with the gas station on the very corner, and that's some really high-priced land, because there used to be a big driving range, and they used to have like they had 3 holes going around that facility, and then they had a big old putting green, and I remember being on that putting green, and I thought it was the greatest thing in the world. But I met the gentleman earlier this year that used to manage that place, and he was great to meet. And they had the used golf store, and then they had a thing where you could go in there, you could get a bucket of balls, and then, get like a hamburger, chips, and drink and whatnot for a discounted price. So I thought that was fun, reliving all that. But it's just so amazing how much development has happened down there. So anyway, you go down, and that road actually ends at East Stockton Boulevard down in Elk Grove. So it connects with the frontage road, I guess, that connects with Highway 99. It's right next to Highway 99, right there. So Watt Avenue, in its entirety, starts off in Roseville at Baseline Road and then goes all the way down to Elk Grove. And I didn't know that. And so I thought that was very interesting. So you go through Elk Grove, and so then you just make a left down on East Stockton Boulevard, and then that takes you over to, I think it's like Grant Line Road, and then you go over the road. I mean, you cross it, right, and then you end up over at Emerald Lakes Golf Course, and that's where you are. So there to drink and eat. So I had a good time. I go there and I scope the place out, and I'm like, okay, how's the ball quality? I actually went over there and watched somebody dump their own balls into a bucket, and they looked good. They were decent. I'll come up and ask somebody, hey, how are the balls here? And they're like, oh, it's pretty good. And I mean, that's kind of what you got to do, because I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to hit crappy balls? But then that's the only place in town, the only place in the area where you can go hit balls and go practice. So they charge only for 130 balls, they charge $21, and it's the jumbo bucket, which I think is enough. The other place at Sacramento National is 25 for 150 balls, which I think is exorbitant. But anyway, I thought the accommodations were good. They just had nice, soft, easy radio music going on. Nothing too oppressive. You didn't have people out there with their boom boxes and their, wireless speakers, whatever, connected to their iPhone. And it was just really good. It took me back to when golf used to be about practicing at the range instead of drinking and eating. So I thought that was a really nice change of pace for me going down to the driving range. So I did that, So I made a video. I shot all the clubs that I hit, and I tried to, put them out in accordance with however it was that I hit them, but that didn't work. I got to come up with a system where whatever club it is that I have in my hand, I'm able to easily see what it is from what I'm shooting, trying to capture the footage. And I got to come up with a system of that. I was wondering if I should, get some, colored electrical tape and wrap it around the club shaft and sort of, that tape will tell me what color or what club I'm actually hitting, because I can't tell if I'm hitting a 6-iron or a 8-iron, because, I don't know, I didn't have my lens on the phone this time, because whenever you're hitting balls at a range, I like to have it in the 0.5 mode where you can see everything, but I like to see the ball coming off the base, and I like to see the ball's trajectory in the air, because at night it's easier to see the ball in the air than anything else. So anyway, I hit those balls, and I hit most of the staff gooseneck irons, and then I got this sand wedge I was telling you about that was just a beautiful club. It's like, they talk about the Ping I-2 being this, great everlasting wedge that's always been on everybody's mind, but they made a forged version of the Ping I-2, and I thought it was just brilliant. It just looks gorgeous. It's forged, and so if you have a problem with the lie, you can easily bend it and not worry about breaking it. And I just thought it was great. And I also found another wedge at Goodwill the other day. It was a Wilson Staff Tour Blade JP Custom Grind sand wedge that had a pretty good shaft in it, and still hit the ball really well. It's over 45 years old, and still it's a brilliant club. It's a forged head, and so I just thought it was great. So then you got that, and then I actually have 2 more of the Ram Laser SX forged irons. I have a 6-iron and an 8-iron, and I'm starting to think that those clubs are really something that I should probably have, because there's never ever been a manufacturer that could replicate the Ping I-2 ever in the history of golf, and I'm thinking I might need to look into that, maybe getting a set of those, just because of how different it is. It's just it's a club that has a lot of forgiveness, but still, the fact that it's a forged cavity back head, I think is the greatest part about it. And and it came out during the time when Ben Hogan was coming out with the Edge, and I think that with that being manufactured, there were some manufacturing problems that they had with that. I've had a set of Hogan Edges, but there were other manufacturers that actually did a better job producing that, and I think Hogan was the company that came out with the Edge first, and then all these other companies sort of started to follow suit with it, because you had the Wilson Staff Progressives came out, the Max Fly Tour Limiteds came out, the Mizuno Grads came out, and not even Titleist came out with a forged cavity back then. They had the Titleist DCIs that were cast. There was like a soft cast, but it wasn't forged. And so back in that time, it was really something if you could produce a forged cavity back iron back in the day, because that was starting to take off. Because the Ping I-2 was the big club you had to beat in the marketplace, and so instead of making a cast club, they decided to make a forged version of their other clubs. So I thought it was really cool. So anyway, I'm going to take a risk here, and I'm going to not take I-5 North this morning, and I'm going to take Interstate 80, and I'm going to try to get through West Sacramento without getting stuck in traffic. So a few minutes ago, my phone was telling me that it's clear sailing, so I'm going to bite the bullet here, and I'm going to try to get to work on time. So we're going to, all right, so we're going to pass it. So next place I probably need to go to is this Leader Golf place that's off of West El Camino Avenue here in Natomas. And so I got to go there, and I got to check out the balls that they have. And so I'm wondering if next time I got to go there, but I don't know. Maybe I'll stop by there on the way home one of these days and see the balls. Because I'm like, I don't know. I'm like really. That's one of my big things, is that I just want to go to a range that has good, decent range balls and not have to suffer through, paying for balls that don't have dimples on them. And I'm just so sick and tired of that. So a place that actually promotes practicing is a place I want to go to. So anyway. All right, so I can't think of anything else. The DP World Tour was in India this past week, in New Delhi, India, at the Delhi Golf Club, and they had the DP World India Championship, and I guess Tommy Fleetwood won yesterday. I thought that was really cool, but the course was really interesting, and it really fascinated me a bit more that they didn't allow more fans in to see that golf tournament. You could hear the traffic outside with all the trucks and lorries and traffic going on over there in Delhi. It takes me back to when I saw the Top Gear India special. They may have been in that area during that time, but it was interesting to see that. All the big dogs came up and showed up for that one. Tommy Fleetwood was there, Rory was there, Shane Lowry was there, Victor Hovland was there, and Brian Harman showed up for that as well, because there wasn't anything on the PGA Tour last week. And I'm wondering what's on tap for the PGA Tour this week. I'm wondering where they'll be. So I guess the DP World Tour in the fall, they make their way to, I think, the final tournament, I guess, in it's either Dubai or United Arab Emirates or whatever it is. So I guess, no, it's not Dubai. It's Abu Dhabi. So I guess they'll end up in Abu Dhabi at the end of the year, and that's where they will end their season. And so I think it's cool where the DP World Tour goes, and I think it's nice to see different golf courses in far reaches of the world. So I think that's really cool, like in India or Kenya or Japan. I don't even know if the DP World Tour goes to Japan or not. I don't even know. I should look at that. I should look that up. So, and set that up. we are good. We are crossing we're going through this IKEA straight here. IKEA is off to the left. New section of Interstate 80 here. So anyway, I don't know. I'm actually somewhat understandable this morning and not bothered by phlegm. So this is good so far. Anyway, that's about it. Haven't played since I think June. I think I played in June or July, was it? I did play. I've only played a handful of times this year. I don't know if I want to venture out and play again because I don't know, just the time it takes. It might be more worth my while to just go hit balls at the range. You know, it's more difficult to shoot. It's more difficult to make content on the golf course than it is to just go to the range and put the phone down and capture your content. And I really like how the Scotty Scheffler grip is helping me out. Oh, and I saw Scotty Scheffler's. I saw God, what's his name? Scotty Scheffler's caddy. He was at the U.S. Grand Prix yesterday. I can't think of his name. Ted Scott. Ted Scott was at the U.S. Grand Prix yesterday. He was trying to give a sermon when the Porsches were going through the start-finish line, but nobody could hear him. So anyway, I thought that was funny. That's kind of about it. We actually stayed home on Saturday. We watched a couple movies. We watched Full Metal Jacket and we watched Edward Scissorhands. And I found out from the Rich Eisen show that Anthony Michael Hall was going to play Private Joker instead of Matthew Modine, but it didn't happen. So it was interesting. So anyway, that is about it. Going over this Yola Causeway with no sort of backup or slowdown or anything. So we got the traffic report here on a Monday morning here on the NACRA Golfers Podcast. Oh, and I discovered another YouTube channel that is over in the UK. This gentleman does a really good job. His name's The Hairy Golfer. And I want to watch his content a little bit more. And he does a good job. He's really coherent, and he's really savvy with the technology, and he has some good comments to say. And I liked his presentation, and the golf courses that he's playing. It's like, whoa, those are some really cool courses. He's out there all by himself, and he's able to just film everything that he wants, and it's really nice to see that. So he's got shot tracers on every shot, and he does a good job. So anyway, I'm going to start watching that a little bit, because he does reviews on little golf ball items and clubs and whatnot and stuff like that. So anyway, this is the NACRA Golfers Podcast, driving to work on a Monday, and hope you're doing well. Have a great week. Thanks so much for listening. Thanks so much for watching my content. Thanks so much for your support. The Steve Tilks and the Steve Koviches, really appreciate that. Thanks so much for listening. God bless. Have a great week. This is the NACRA